Awesome. Well, thank you for having us. We're super excited. For those that you missed this morning's keynote, we had a couple of highlights we're going to go through. I'm trying to figure out where the camera is I'm talking to, so I'm not looking in the wrong spot. But hopefully you can see us. There it is. Got it. Okay. We're going to be putting the keynote on YouTube as well, so if you missed all that stuff this morning, you'll see a bunch more. But I wanted to show a couple of the highlights, and we'll go into that in a little bit of detail here after we show our safe harbor from our wonderful lawyers. Okay, so Maya, as you know, is used across the board, whether you're talking about God of War, this was just up, Game of the Year, obviously using Maya all the way through to, like the Division 2 that just dropped this weekend. So obviously, there's a lot of different people who are using our software, which is awesome. And we wanted to make sure that what we're doing is, building the software to the point where it's actually as fast and as quick as we can to make it so that you can get into building these giant games and giant worlds. And so with that, I'll show you a couple of things that we've put into 2019. The first thing here, you can see what we're calling the beautiful viewport. But the viewport here, and as you're seeing this truck spin around, like this is the viewport. You could be pulling points and messing with it. Obviously, this is the snapper's rig, as you can read there, but this is literally the rig that you can animate with, right? So the whole point here is that, if you are out there sharing your playblasts, do me a favor and hit 6 for a change, because there's a lot of really ghetto playblasts going out there right now. We obviously have a full PBR setup. We were announcing this week and dropping a white paper for our Arnold standard surface that you can actually use to do this sort of thing. So you can see like this beautiful Viking is looking great and a variety of different fronts. But not just the viewport looking good, we've also made a lot of work, a lot of effort went into making it load faster. So in this example, you can see it's going from 18 minutes down to 2 minutes. Pro tip here is if you have scenes that have a lot of stuff in it, make sure you hide your stuff, because whatever you're hidden, we're much smarter, as you can see on the screen there, 80% faster. So if you have stuff in your scene that you don't necessarily need, make sure you're using that technology that we've put in there. And the third thing, once you've actually loaded in and you want to work, we've done a lot of work to make the actual viewport fast in performance. So if you're doing kit bashing type stuff and snapping things, that's 50 times faster. And I was given a bit of grief because I had put 50% faster, and it's like, no, it's significantly better than 50%. It's 50 times faster for that stuff. So all that's really cool, but this is an animation stream. So why are we here, right? So last year we were up here and we announced that we were doing a tech preview of cache playback. This is obviously shipped since then. And so you can see here in this particular example, it's going from 8 frames to 24 frames. But let me dig into a bit more detail how it works. And this morning, as I said, we did a keynote, and we'll put out on YouTube, you can get into a lot of the details on how to really tweak it and get into more, like if you want to do Python scripting and really dig into it, you totally can. But as I'm talking here, we've got 6 soldiers on screen with mocap, and the button to turn on cache playback is on by default, but they went ahead and turned it on. That blue bar fills up, and what you'll see is that we went from 11 frames a second to, close to 60 as I look down. And so that's obviously too fast for what you normally are animating, so make sure you actually lock it to the 24 or 30 that you're working at. But the whole goal here is that you shouldn't have to play blast. And in this case, we've got, like I said, 6 soldiers, and the animator can go in there and tweak. In this case, she's in the graph editor tweaking the head to sort of loosen him up. The breacher's getting ready to kick down the door. He's got to stretch out his neck a bit. And all while she's doing that, she can hit play at any point and not have to worry about play blast, wait for 2 minutes, look at it, adjust. And of course, you can look at it from any angle, etc. And so we've had a lot of positive response on this. And here's another example with some hippos. Same deal where, again, they're going, and as quickly as I could speak, that blue bar fills up and away you go. And so we obviously worked, like I said, we announced this last year, and we worked with a bunch of different animators. So thank you again for the people that joined the beta and got involved. We really appreciate that. It helped us make it, actually robust and to a point where we're quite confident with it. We also visited Sony Santa Monica and setting up for the talks this week, and they let us know that they had actually tried after they're getting into designing the next stuff. They're looking at how does this work. They just dropped their rigs in, and they went from 1 frames a second with 3 characters for the cinematics up to over 35, so that they're like going from unusable to actually like beyond usable. Like you have to slow it down a little bit. So some really cool stuff there. We're really pumped about that. So that's all cool. But this is all stuff that's public and you already know about. So we wanted to always come and sort of bring some secret teases. So we have two things I want to talk about. One tech preview that we've got here is what we're doing beyond what we've already shipped with Cache Playback. So here's an early test. We'll see if the reaction in the studio audience is good or bad. But one of the things we can do, because Cache has everything in memory, is we can start showing everything in memory. So anyone want onion skinning for free? No? Okay. Well, we'll take notes. Yeah, it's definitely useful. Again, this is something we'd love to get feedback in the beta if you want to join and give us feedback. This is very much an engineering demo of like, hey, we show all the frames. And it's not really usable from an animation standpoint, so we're still going through the design of what would that look like? What would the UI look like? Do we ramp up the transparency or not? So definitely interested in getting feedback on that stuff. You can guess at other things that we could pull off with that type of thing, which is really cool. So that's one tech preview that we're showing off. Again, I'd love to get feedback. But even more importantly, we made an announcement this morning. That's why we have Jacob up here with us. And how many people out there are on the stream? Oh, we can't see the stream up here. So if you haven't gone to dinner and you're still watching us, one of the things that we're talking about is the fact that not everyone has access to a multi-million-dollar mocap studio, right? And so wouldn't it be cool if we could make it so that you could work with people like Eric who did Kratos and actually get access to that type of level of motion capture data. And so with that, Jacob, tell them how we're going to do it.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Jacob. I am the founder and CEO of the company Rococo. So Rococo was spun out of an animation film project in Copenhagen, Denmark, some years ago, and my first experience working with motion capture, and more specifically, finding out how powerful and amazing motion capture can be, but also how extremely expensive and restrictive and hard it is to work with. So I had this feeling that it could unlock immense potential, but it had to be made more accessible. So my co-founders and I went out on a mission to democratize motion capture. And 5 years later, we have what we call a motion platform, which is basically a range of tools that make sure that everybody, regardless of budget, get access to high-end motion capture. What we love so much about motion capture is how it allows you to work with all these little nuances of human motion. So the things I'm doing right now, without even being aware of it. Those things that are so hard to keyframe animate and get out in any other way, but with motion capture, you get it for free. You can't not get it if you have a person in a suit. So what we're announcing today is super exciting, because one problem is that many Maya users don't have this access. They don't have access to motion capture, and even those that do, they have to spend a lot of time setting it up. They often need help, technical assistance to actually use it. So we're going to take a big step with Autodesk, and I am super proud and excited to be sitting here. What we're going to do is we're going to integrate our flagship product, the Motion Library, natively in Maya. What that means for you as users is you get multi-million-dollar mocap assets at your fingertips for the price of a coin offer. So the Motion Library is the world's largest marketplace of motion assets. Top motion capture studios from all over the world are supplying assets that you as users can search for. So you can search for climbing a tree, falling down stairs. You can find the version of that you love, and then you can preview on your custom rig, so just drag and drop. You can decide, okay, I want this, and then you can buy it for either $3 or $6 per asset, depending on the complexity of the asset. So the studios we have supplying these assets are the biggest studios in the world. It's Audio Motion in London that worked on Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Harry Potter movies, Horizon Zero Dawn. Centroid worked on Assassin's Creed, James Bond films. So every time you get an asset here, it's created by a professional actor in $1 million studio. What we want to do in time is open the marketplace up even more. So we want to make sure that everyone, a person that has access to motion capture or a game company, can create their own profile and upload their assets. So if they're really good at shooting bow and arrow in some certain style, they can create a profile, they can upload these assets, you can follow them, you can like their assets, you can comment, you can go directly in contact with them, actually collaborate with them outside of the marketplace as well. So it's basically going to be like a social network for animation. So for Maya users, the most obvious use case right now is that this is going to drastically improve the speed that you can actually block out scenes for previs. instead of going through old folders that maybe aren't named correctly and opening each file, you can just search in our archive. If you find an asset that you've already downloaded, you can re-download it for free and use it, and we'll store everything for you. So don't create anything from scratch. Just go directly to the Motion library. So to show how that looks and how we vision that, we have created a video demo that we'd like to show you all. We reached out to our friend Eric Jacobus, who is right here with us. He's a motion library publisher with his company Superalloy Interactive. He is also the mocap actor that played Kratos in God of War. So he created some assets for us that then our other friend Scott Kravitz, who is an animator who worked on titles all the way from Matrix to Pirates of the Caribbean to the latest Aquaman. So Scott is going to find these assets in the motion library, and he's going to block out an action scene quickly for you to see. So let's play that video if we have. There should be sound on it.
We get sound? Hopefully we're not blowing everyone's ears on the stream.
No sound? So I'm just going to narrate this part then. All right, so this is the motion library inside of Maya. So basically what you can do here is you can drag your assets onto your rig onto your asset to see it like this. If you like it, you can place it in your cart here. You can go to a thumbnail view. You can search your searches for kick. Then it gets a lot of different kinds of kicks. So if you want to make that search, the filter even more precise, you can apply a martial arts filter. So you get martial arts kicks. Then you can go into, this is the publisher that created the asset, which is Eric's publisher, Superalloy Interactive. You can drag your rig just onto the thumbnail like that if you want to see it in thumbnail view. You can place two next to each other so you can actually get a sense of how they look in a flow. If you prefer to see it like this, you can. You can see from every angle and in every speed you want, add it to the cart. Then you can also add to the cart directly from the thumbnail. And he's collected 3 assets at $9. That is what he needs. And I wish you could hear Scott.
Well, we'll post this video as well so you
Sure.
can watch it.
It'll be posted. So what Scott is basically explaining here is how he went through this blocking that you can see on the pictures. He took the 3 assets from Eric, and he blocked out an action scene with them. You can see the 2 rigs that you recognize that he used before for the preview. And Scott is explaining how this would have taken him days to keyframe animate or to find assets to go to a mocap studio to provide this. Instead, he spent half an hour finding the assets. They worked directly from the motion library inside of Maya. And then he blocked out the scene you see here with the assets that you can see that there's the same that Eric created in the beginning. So this video is going to be online. You can see it with sound. We'll post it for you all. We are super excited about this, and we've been waiting for a chance to take it directly to all Maya users. So already now, you can go to rococo.com/Autodesk. You can sign up for notifications on the release and updates, but we'd also just love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for this. We're building it right now. So if you have any specific needs or any thoughts about this would really optimize this for my workflow, please let us know. Yeah, there's still time. So super excited. Thanks for the chance. And you should watch that video with sound. It's really great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us. We're, like I said, we've got a lot of cool stuff that dropped in 2019. We got more stuff that the team's working on all the time. Please hit us up. We want to hear from you, whether it's, you're emailing me or Twitter or whatever works for you. We want to make sure we're building stuff that you guys find useful. So again, thank you very much for sticking through the whole stream all day. It's been great, and we'll be posting more stuff. But please make some really good games, because I definitely play them. Thanks.